And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the always pressing PGA DFS podcast, previewing the third major of the PGA Tour season, the U.S. Open, live from Pebble Beach this week. In order to do so, I'm joined by my co-host, as always. You can find him on Twitter at DFS Golf Gods. Jesse, how we doing, man?
Doing well, dude. It's hard to believe we're at the third major of the year.
Yeah, when I wrote the description on YouTube for this right beforehand, I almost typed the second. I'm like, nope, this is actually the third. Oh, yeah, things have changed already. We're moving right along this season.
That is crazy, man. I mean, it's going to be, Open Championship and then playoffs, and then it's over.
Yeah, it's funny though. The more I looked at it, it's technically over, but that west swing starts a lot earlier than usual too. Like they're really not getting a big gap if they don't want it.
Well,
this schedule is built for the really good players that don't have to play a lot. That's what this is built for.
It is 100%. But it's also fun to have a major every 3 weeks during this kind of prime time, especially with there's NBA winding down, obviously playoffs going on, NHL about to finish too, and then all you got's boring ass baseball.
Easy now, easy. That's scary. But yes, I understand. Baseball is not for everybody, which is ironic because people that think baseball's too slow, they're listening to a golf podcast. So let's really break it down here real quick. Right. But maybe that's why I like them both. I'm just a slow guy. But I love the schedule because, like you said, you get a major pretty much like every 3 weeks. And you at least get one of the other big tournaments in between there. So, like, the fields are all pretty loaded. Even the RBC was very loaded compared to normal. And, what it sounds like, they're going to move that RBC around a lot. And they might try to – there's enough courses up there in Canada to maybe resemble U.S. Open courses, kind of like, in Texas they used to do for the Masters and whatnot. And, they showed at the RBC, it was like the rough wasn't U.S. Open rough, but the idea of having to hit your shot, be accurate, small greens, POA, so on and so forth. I don't think it was initially planned that way, but it did resemble Pebble quite a bit. So
yeah, it had a. I didn't watch any on the weekend. I was busy like you, on the course myself. But I watched it Thursday and Friday quite a bit, and it had a look to kind of more of a major type of golf course. It was the rough was kind of thick, and then obviously the greens were very difficult. It was more so on those greens because they were very undulating. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a great idea if they can play it on POA every year and have similar type of conditions. Now, one thing we'll get into later, but isn't it like super hot there currently?
Yes, but what I'll tell everybody now is I'll be out there tomorrow. So if I see something that's weird, we'll talk about that in the Slack chat for sure. But we've had a lot of rain, even as recently as like last week. Yeah. So it's a lot different than when people said, they scorched the golf course back in 2010 and everything was super dried out. We've had a ton of rain. Like I played Poppy Hills, which is a Pebble Beach golf course 2 weeks, about a week and a half ago now, 2 Fridays ago. And it's literally like 2 miles away from Pebble Beach's actual course. And it was lush, it was green, it was wet, it was beautiful. Like not a care in the world. So if that course was that good, I'm pretty sure Pebble's going to be okay.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, but we'll see. I guess I don't know, man. Like it's you never know with the fucking USGA.
That's the biggest thing. It's what are they going to do with it, and that's what I'm looking forward to seeing tomorrow when I walk around out there.
But they can only do so much. I mean, it depends on. Yes. Again, I mean, they can't dry something out that is that you just can't dry out because it's just got too much rain on it. I mean, the one good thing about Pebble is it's right there on the coast, so it's constantly getting some kind of moisture on it anyway, so you can't kill it off. But then again, if you watch the Women's U.S. Open, that golf course was right on the water as well, and they managed to
destroy it.
Yeah, I mean, well, destroy it, yeah, but burn it up. They burn it the fuck up. It was brown. So, anyways.
I have a gut feeling that people that run Pebble Beach, that own Pebble Beach, will not allow that to happen. I know it's not their call technically, but that's such a prestigious golf course that
it's a lot of money.
I don't think they want that.
You're getting $500 around, but at the same time, like they could probably get $750 around for the next few weeks after the USGA moves on.
Oh, all the courses in the area as of 2 Sundays ago, they like doubled or tripled their rates. All of them. I played the Sunday before I played on a Sunday up in Carmel, and they told me, "It's a good thing you guys are playing today because starting tomorrow our rates go to this number." I'm like, Jesus Christ! And people were like booking them out, like they were almost all booked all the way through the Open. It's freaking crazy. But that's another podcast for another day. If anybody's curious, and you're bored and I'm bored, we can talk. But recapping the RBC real quick. Rory McIlroy looked damn good. He was hitting it long. He was hitting it straight. His approach game was on point, and he was like sixth in the field in putting. We've always said it, when Rory's putting, he's one of the best golfers, if not the best golfer in the world. He just torched the course over the weekend, especially on Sunday, 9 under on Sunday to finish 22 under par and absolutely just dominate the golf tournament. He was great. You had Sneds up there, Kuchar up there, and Graham McDowell made a big putt on 18 to qualify for the Open Championship at Port Rush, where he's from. You had so many good storylines. You got Justin Thomas actually play 4 rounds of golf and look pretty good. Any takeaways from your time you watched it early on the week, or anything else that you might have saw?
Not a bunch. I mean, just looking at stats from Rory, that was the most stats he's gained in a win, I'm guessing, pretty much ever. He gained 21 shots total, 21 strokes total over the week, and it wasn't even done off the tee, which is atypical for him. A lot of it was done, with the putter. But either way, I mean, it's pretty amazing performance he put on there. I thought it was going to be a much tighter race, but I mean, when he shoots 9 under and just pretty much runs away with it. But other than that, man, I mean, my boy Shane Lowry, who I liked quite a bit last week, was up there. Webb, we talked about. Brandt, we mentioned, I think. Cooch, of course, we talked about.
Up there.
Yeah. And then a few other kind of weird names. Graham McDowell made top 10, and he gets to play the Open Championship now, which is, I think, at his home course or something like that, or he's from around that area.
I just mentioned that.
Do what?
Did you mention that? Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was probably zoned out looking at Rory's stats. But yeah, I mean, that the problem that I had with it last week is obviously if we're going to move it around, it's just going to be tough from a betting perspective. But I didn't mind the golf course. The golf course actually was pretty nice. Kind of fun to watch, and and if they can keep it on something, I think it's a great idea if it's going to be the lead up to the U.S. Open for them to make it a tougher deal. Now 22 under.
That's
how tough was it? Yeah, I mean, he won by 7 shots, but there were still quite a few guys who got to the 10 under pars, and I got a feeling nobody will sniff a double digits under par this week. At least it's my guess. Could be wrong.
No, I don't see it happening much at all. It's one of those. It'll be cool if they keep like a 3 or 4 course rotation. We can come back to them and get a kind of feel for them.
Right.
I'd be all for that. I like the idea of moving them. That's totally cool. But I like to see them use these golf course again. It's a really good course. You got rewarded for making good golf shots, and that's all I care about. Like we've talked about it before with the USGA, and again, hopefully it doesn't happen this week. But good golf shots didn't matter in past U.S. Opens. But courses like this past weekend, good golf shots, you got rewarded, and it was very fun to watch and a beautiful golf course. So, yeah, I had no problems with it at all. I'm looking forward to seeing where they go with that again. But let's get to the U.S. Open, Jesse.
Yep.
Let's get to the third major of the year. This is what it's all about. Give us some past event history. Obviously, you can't give us all past Pebble history, but give us past event history.
Yeah, you'll talk, obviously, more about the golf course, and the weather will be a factor too. So we'll talk about that here in just a second. But as far as the actual U.S. Open goes, obviously it's on a rotation. What the rotation is basically just up to the USGA. But last year, Brooks Koepka won. The year before that, Brooks Koepka won. Dustin Johnson was 2016 champion. Jordan Spieth, 2015 champion. Now, the last time it was played at Pebble Beach, Graham McDowell was the champion. He shot even par and was a 1-shot winner over Gregory Havret. It's a great.
Nicely done.
It was a fucking really good accent there. And the time before that, which was 2000, so that was 2010 when Graham McDowell won. The last time they had it before that was just 2000. When Tiger Woods was in the midst of a Tiger Slam, I do believe. And he shot 12 under par, won by 15 shots. And that was like the U.S. Open record for the most under par until Rory shot 16 at Congressional, won by 8 shots in 2011, and then Brooks tied his 16 shots under par, which was on I think a par 72 versus a par 7. Either way, the most under par. So, long story short, it played tough for everybody except for Tiger both times.
Shocker.
Yeah.
Shocker. If anybody's going to do it, why not be LT?
I mean, 15 shots, and I forgot. I was reading somewhere or listening to something. Oh, it was Ricky Fowler today, his press conference. He was mentioning how basically Tiger told his caddy, Stevie Williams at the time, that he wasn't going to make a bogey all day on Sunday. And he was up by like, 10 shots or whatever. It didn't really matter. And he was out there fist pumping like par putts on 15, 16, and was up by, 15 shots. But that was Tiger then, man. I mean, he just wanted to step on your throat and rip your head off.
He was a special breed, but he owns that golf course. He's already been out there. You've seen the clips on Twitter. He loves playing there. We'll see how this version of Tiger plays there, but I imagine it'll be pretty good, I would assume. But again, Pebble Beach golf links, golf course, whatever you want to call it, but it's the legendary Pebble Beach. It's going to be playing a little over to 7,000 yards. It's not going to be huge. I mentioned it from when I was there at the Pro-Am this year. They already had the markers out. You could see where the rough was going to grow. You saw where the new holes or tee boxes are going to be. But a lot of the holes they can't move. Like they just can't move them. I believe it was 10 or 11 they moved back behind the normal grandstands. I heard 17 they're going to take out the grandstands on 3. You have to tee off over the road, so it turns into like a 230-yard par 3 with the wind coming off the ocean right there. So that'll be interesting to try to hold that on that green. That'll be really, really tricky. That's going to be a hell of a par 3. But all in all, what this course comes down to is just accuracy at the tee box. We've seen all the pictures. We've heard all the horror stories about the rough. It is very, very thick. It's very, very thick right off the fairways. It's very, very thick just a few feet off the green. They're cutting down all the brush on the slopes. So when the Pro-Ams, you'd hit the brush, it would stick there and you could play it. Here, it just rolls into the Pacific Ocean. So that happened to DJ back in 2010 when he just blew up on that Sunday. He found a few shots fall into the ocean because these fairways and most of the golf course is undulating. It's either, massive uphill downhills, it's sloping left to right. Not a lot of level shots when you're just standing in the fairway. So you're going to have to be able to work the ball right to left a bit at times and try to hit the smallest greens or one of the smallest set of greens on the PGA Tour. Very, very small. You'll hear the term POA. It's POA greens. Some guys putt very good on them, as we've talked about before. As the day goes on, they're harder and harder to putt on. So that's something to keep in mind. Especially as hot as it's going to be, they're going to grow pretty quickly. You're going to see some slower greens as the day goes on. Plus, you see a little more footprints and activity on them a little more frequently as the day goes on with the POA formats. It's going to be a lesson driver course. You're going to see a lot of woods. You're going to see a lot of iron play, long irons, kind of just running them out there, getting 150 yards in or so. Again, as long as you can stay accurate, and par will be a good score here because you can get in trouble pretty freaking easily because it will be drier than the Pro-Am. There's no question about that, but it's still going to be pretty plush conditions, but the ball will roll. They're going to make those fairways tight and make them roll. So there's a lot to go on there, but all in all, there's bunkers throughout the fairways and around the greens, but not a tricky golf course if you stay in the fairway. That's a big if, a big, big if. And right now, looking at the weather, it's going to be beautiful. Thursday 65, Friday 63, and then when you get into the weekend, it's just going to be 62 and 62, no rain. And as of now, I'm not seeing, you're going to get the normal, maybe gusts of 15 to 20 mile an hour winds, but nothing crazy. But that's the thing about being off the ocean. It can kick up at a moment's notice, and it'll get really interesting because like half the golf course plays along the ocean side. So that can make things fun, especially if you get the wrong wave on that one. But overall, it's going to be a beautiful golf course, a lot of fun to watch on TV. Fox's coverage is going to be absolutely outstanding for that. So looking forward to that. Did you have anything else you wanted to add on the course?
I don't. It will be key to watch and see what the players are saying about it this week. And, I highly recommend keeping up with some of the quotes that'll be on Twitter and Golf Channel and all that kind of stuff.
Yep, definitely something to look at there. With all that being said, what are the key stats you'll be looking for this week?
So a couple different ways. I mean, I'm waiting putting. I don't hardly ever, but I'm waiting putting on POA. I think it is important because some people just absolutely hate POA and just can't put on it. Other guys do just fine. So I will definitely factor that in. Other than that, basically just your kind of normal run of the mill stats as far as strokes gained off the tee, strokes gained approach, proximity. I am throwing in fairways gained and bogey avoidance. Now, done a kind of a mixed condition model on Fantasy National and checked some of the things on the left side. So, like for instance, scoring relative to par using more difficult courses. Because I do think this will play pretty difficult, and then obviously long rough too with the fairways gained. So just kind of messing around with it as far as that goes. It's a lot of things obviously you can do with Fantasy National. It's a pretty cool site, and you can kind of customize stuff and, like I said, make this mixed condition model, and we'll see how it plays out. But it's kind of where I'm at this point.
Yeah, I'm on board with pretty much all that. Accuracy off the tee, bogey avoidance, approach game. You're going to need to putt, like you said, on POA is going to be very, very clutch there, so something to keep in mind. But let's talk some Fanshare Sports getting up for this. Don't use promo code AlwaysPress this week. Just tell them they sent you, because if you use promo code USA from now until the tournament starts on Thursday, you get 50% off a season pass, or all subscriptions, actually. 50% off all subscriptions at fansharesports.com. So use promo code USA and you get 50% off a Fanshare Sports package. It goes from now until the start of the tournament on Thursday. So go check that out. You're not going to find a better time if you want to try it out, this is as cheap as you're ever going to get it. So go check it out, worth every penny, and get your stuff over there at fansharesports.com. If they ask where you heard about it, tell them the Always Pressing PGA DFS podcast.
100%. And just to kind of tout them a little bit too, this is a great week to check in Wednesday night, see who they're projecting low ownership, and just plug a team in just in case there is mass carnage.
Yeah, because that's the thing, as we'll get into with our DraftKings picks. This is a week where all hell could break loose. Like, if you just have one awkward shot, you could turn a par into like a quadruple bogey.
Right.
And it just completely destroys your round. So it'll be interesting to see how that works. We talk about Fanshare Sports. If we talk about coming in, I kind of did different things because, as usual, like last week, you can't just use the Pebble Beach Pro-Am. So I did the last 10 events on courses of around this length from 7,000 to 7,200 yards. A DraftKings scoring, Lucas Biergaard, over 101 points. He played in 3 of those 10 tournaments, but guys that have played 10. Kuchar's averaging over 98 DraftKings points on courses like that. JT 92, Webb 91, Henrik 90, Rahm 86, Brooks 85, Rose, Woods, and Molly. So as you'd expect, best of the best. Now, if we look at, you mentioned you want POA putters. Last 10 events on POA. Let me update this to put just the field. There we go. Dustin Johnson leads the way. That makes sense. We've seen DJ dominate the West Coast. We've seen him dominate Pebble. On the last 10 events on POA on the PGA Tour, Dustin's played all 10. He's averaging over 97 points. The next closest guy in second place is Jason Day on all 10 at 82. Dustin Johnson loves him some POA. You got Tony Finau at 82, Justin Thomas 81, Rory, Phil, Casey, Matt Wallace cracks the list, Adam Scott, and Colin Morikawa. He's only played in one event, but he played really well on POA. So keep that in mind. Small sample with Colin, but again, best of the best that he's expecting a field like this. Last but not least, coming in good form, the last 6 events, DraftKings scoring-wise, leading the way be Brooks Koepka, Rory, Tiger, Francisco, Patrick Cantlay is going to be a popular guy this week, Rory Sabatini, DJ, Tomas Peters, Kevin Na, and Jordan Spieth. A lot of the names you'd think of coming into it, but let's do it, Jesse. Let's talk DraftKings. Let's give everybody what they wanted, and it's going to be a fun one as you got a handful of players over $10,000, and if my page will load, I will start talking to you about DraftKings, but we're going to put this off for just a second here now. Yes, this is the beautiful thing called technology. I absolutely love it right here. There we go. All right, the highest priced golfer in the field, Brooks Koepka at 11.6. You got DJ at 11.3, Tigray at 10.7, Rory 10.5, Spieth all the way up to 10.3, and Patrick Cantlay with the big boys at $10,000. I know Cantlay's name's been everywhere. People have been playing him and all kind of, for the picks to win and everything. He's been a popular guy the last few weeks. But you got 6 guys over 10K, Jesse. What are you looking at on this one?
All of them. I mean,
yeah.
I've got all of them checked, and I think there's merit to playing all of them. the good thing about Brooks in this tournament is he's not underpriced. I mean, that's where he should be. Maybe even potentially a little bit of an overprice, just given. I mean, obviously back-to-back U.S. Open champion, coming off the PGA Championship win. I'm not saying he's overpriced. I'm just saying I think him and DJ are about equal. So for that reason, I like DJ just a little bit more now. I love, if it's possible, and you want to get completely ballsy, playing in a 3 max or 20 max or whatever you're playing in, and if you can just fit in Brooks and DJ and find somebody else, find those other 4 guys. Obviously, you're going to be dipping down, but there'll probably be some guys who will make the cut.
If you take Brooks and DJ, you have 4 golfers left. You can average $6,700 and $75 a golfer.
Yeah, I mean it's not going to be comfortable to do, but not many people are going to do it. And if you can find that right 4 golfers down there, there's going to be some surprises. There is every year, and they may shit the bed on Sunday, but if you got the top 2 there, and then 6-6 is low to begin with, I think you got a pretty good shot. So, I almost did that at the PGA Championship. I had a lineup in with those 2. Ended up getting 5 of 6 because I fucking switched DJ to Tiger.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So anyways, moving on to Tiger. I think he's fine. I don't think I'm gonna play him, but I can see why people would. He missed the cut at the PGA Championship, which is going to play more similar than the Masters ever will, as far as having to hit fairways. Now, he had a pretty good showing, top 10 at the Memorial. He had a really nice Sunday, but it wasn't anything like spectacular. I don't know. He's a GPP only play if you want to throw him in there. I think Rory will be popular coming off his win. He obviously looked good. Finally got a win for me. I've been touting him for however many damn weeks in a row now. I think Spieth will not be that popular because he never is. He has a past champion at Pebble Beach, the 2017 AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am champion there. So he's got the course history. And then Cantlay, I don't know, man. It'll be interesting to see where Cantlay comes in at fan share wise. Because that price is, a little bit inflated for him. Who do you really want? Him or Rose? I mean, let's think about it. You know what I mean? Like, Rose is a major champion. Cantlay's not. JT's a major champion. We'll talk about these guys obviously coming up, but it just seems to me like he's overpriced. So I don't know that I want to pay that much for him. The 2 plays for me are the two up top. Brooks, I think we can get him at less ownership because of the high price, and then DJ, he's just in form. He's playing really well, and he just tends to show up.
Yeah, I don't need to say a ton more. I think DJ is a phenomenal play this week. I know it's Captain Obvious type speak here, but when you talk about a guy that loves playing Pebble Beach, and again, I know everyone's going to say this isn't the same, but still, course knowledge is going to help. You're going to know when you can go for holes and not go for it, stuff like that. He's going to know where his shot goes. And, when he's playing a cut down Pro-Am tour, like that's going to go in the rough over there. Maybe I shouldn't hit that shot. Where other guys might not know that. They're going to say, screw it, let's go. There's going to be little factors like that might make or break a difference, or he just plays like shit. Who knows? But I think DJ at 11-3, like you said, coming in the form he's coming in, 2 top 2s in his last 4 events. He's played really well in U.S. Opens to begin with, a third, a missed cut, a first, a second, a fourth in his last 5. That's pretty damn good. Pretty darn. I'll let the missed cuts slide in U.S. Opens because Rory McIlroy has missed 3 straight cuts in U.S. Opens. Like, the best of the best. It's carnage. It is absolute. You're going to see Twitter go ablaze by mid-Thursday, if not sooner. Like, someone's going to just trunk slam out the gate. It's
100%.
going to happen. It will happen. That is the beauty of this tournament and the pain of this tournament. But I love DJ. He's made 11 to 12 cuts, including he's won here, 8 top 10s in the Pro-Am. Plays well in U.S. Opens. I like him a ton this week. If not, I'm going to get contrarian. I'm going Jordan Spieth. He loves Pebble. He's won here. He's made all 7 cuts at Pebble. When you talk about a guy that's in good form with T7, T8, T3 his last 3 times out, he's pretty accurate off the tee these days. He likes putting on POA. This sets up really well for him, and the price bump he has had and the amount of haters I think that still exist for Jordan Spieth, I think you're going to get some low-owned Jordan Spieth here, especially with Rory $200 more. if you're coming up here, I have no problem with Jordan Spieth. We've been on him the last few weeks, actually, on this show. We've been kind of pro Jordan of late, and I think this is a good week to jump back on board. If he's ever going to get back into the major championship, if it's not for the Masters, this is the kind of course to do it for him. This is where he's going to be able to do it. So I don't mind Jordan at all. It's all about DJ up top for me. That's where it's at. All right, 9K, you got Justin Rose at 97. You got Ricky Fowler 95, JT at 93, Rom 92, Day 91, Molly 9,000. If you don't want to pay up, you can easily start right here with a slew of really good golfers. Where are you directing your attention in the 9K range?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at really two guys here, and I'm going to leave one for your more analysis, but Justin Rose.
I wonder who that's going to be.
Yeah, 9,700. So 2 of 2 cuts at Pebble, which is, obviously the Pro-Am, different animal. But did make the cut at the PGA Championship as well, finished 29th there. So I think he's kind of a sneaky, under the radar potentially play. You never really know in these situations, but I do feel like in major tournaments, people will be more apt to pay up. So grabbing Rory or Tiger or DJ or whoever up top there, and you can't really be comfortable with doing 2 guys above 9K. It's much more comfortable to just grab one of those guys and shoot down into the 8,000s where there's plenty of good plays. I mean, we'll talk about those guys here in just a second. And then Franny, man, I mean, just looking at difficult courses, he rates out really well. My only thing is, ever since his win at the API, it's just been kind of, what the fuck? 53rd Charles Schwab, 48th PGA Championship, miscut the Heritage. He did finish 5th at the Masters, and 56th at the Players Championship. So those are all his starts since his win at the Arnold Palmer Invitational, all the way back in March, which seems like lifetimes ago. It's how rapidly this season moves now. You tell me, dude, because you know better than I feel with Franny. But I just don't feel like he's getting my big play with it is I don't feel like he's getting the buzz that he should, and maybe it's because he's not playing well, but at 9,000 I would be really willing to take a risk on him.
You nailed it. He's not getting the buzz, and that intrigues me to him even more, because I was not thinking, in past tournaments, people listen to this show regularly, I go in yep, this was Molly, I'm playing Molly.
Right.
It's I really liked him this week. It's a deep field. But then, like you said, when it comes to difficult courses, he plays them very, very well. When you're looking at a shot maker's course where you have to be accurate off the tee and your approach game has to be strong, Molly does that very, very well, more often than not. He's really good at it. This is his first time playing Pebble in a tournament, so that'll be interesting.
Actually, no, he played the 2010 U.S. Open. He missed the cut.
Well, I wonder why they have him as a first timer on this sheet. Interesting.
But Labs has him as playing in the 2010 U.S. Open missed cut.
Okay. Well, that was a different Franny also, so I'll let that one slide.
100%. Yeah. No, totally different guy. I mean, this is the last 2 years.
It was the always pressing boost. It happens. But I actually like him. The fact that there is no buzz, I think it's huge, because you're hearing a ton of Jason Day buzz at $9,100, and it's not a bad play. Jason Day loves playing Pebble Beach. He's also coming in kind of, form at $9,100. It's tough. I think Molly's a very, very good play at 9,000, maybe more GPP than cash. I'm not going to say don't play cash this week because it's a full field event. I have no problem playing cash. Just realize it's going to be ugly. The cuts, but 4 or 6 might cash and cash. So yeah, it's one of those weeks. That's where it still benefits playing cash, but just realize, don't get stupid. Get really safe. I got my threesome for cash. I got picked out. You'll understand what I mean by being really safe, and that still might not be safe, but it's a lot better than saying, okay, I'm going to take DJ and then take a punt. You're playing with fire, big time fire. But back to the Molly thing. I like him a lot this week, especially if he's low owned. I'm a big fan of that. The other guys I like here is I like JT. I like seeing what we saw last week. JT's one of the most accurate guys off the tee. He was very accurate in Canada last week, and when he's doing stuff like that, he can play very, very well. So he's played decent in Opens, not great, but decent. But I'll be back on JT. He showed him he's healthy. Now, given the wrist injury, could probably get re-aggravated real quick with rough like that. Just keep that in mind. But I'll take my chances there with JT at 9,300. I think that's a great price tag. And then you mentioned Rose. I think, like you said, Rose I think goes really cheap because people either don't want Cantlay right above him, or everyone flocks to Ricky Fowler.
Oh, Ricky,
that's how it always works. So you're going to get a cheaper, like if we can get a cheap Rose, a cheap Molinari. I doubt JT's cheap, but with Fowler right there and then Day right below, he might be cheap too. You get 3 guys that could easily win this golf tournament. Super low owned. That is tremendous. Or like you said, when you said start with DJ and Brooks, start with 2 guys here, and that could be huge. So definitely different ways to build it, but those would be the 3 guys I'm looking at. All right, let's get into the 8K range, which gets more and more fun. You got Fleets at $8,900, Matsuyama at 88, Xander at 87, Scott 86, Cooch 85, Finau 84, Casey 83, Phil 82, Bryson 81, and Gary Woodland 8,000. Great set of names here, Jesse. Which ones are you targeting?
Yeah, I mean, this is like I feel like it's my range, right? Like they got all the guys I love to tilt over. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of like with the same thing with Franny. Like I don't feel like Fleetwood is catching a lot of attention. And it's really because he's kind of had well, at least in my eyes, a bit of a disappointing season. Not really contending.
It's been mediocre.
Like it was last year.
Mediocre.
But you know, the last time he missed any cut worldwide.
He's made every cut this year.
July of last year at the Open de France.
Pretty good.
So
it's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, coming up on a year straight of not missing the cut. Now you can look at that one of 2 ways. He's due, or he's just playing that well. And for that price, I like him quite a bit. Hideki, same type of thing. I mean, he's just playing good golf. I would rather, for a win, I'd rather take Fleetwood over Deck. But, Hideki can surprise, and he can top 10 here easily. The last time he missed a cut was July of 2018. And that was at the British Open or the Open Championship. So same type of deal. Also on Adam Scott, $8,600. Give me the guy who has terrible course history, but is playing really well. Poa can be the great equalizer when it comes to bad putters. Be interesting to see which putter he does have this week. I hope to God he brings the big broom. If not, tilt my face off. And then Paul Casey, 8,300. Don't expect him not to be popular. 2nd, 8th, and 40th in his 3 appearances at Pebble. So the 40th was the 2010 U.S. Open that was held here. But ever since then, in the last 2 years, he's finished 2nd and 8th in the Pebble Beach Pro-Am. So coming off a WD there, which was really fun when he actually did have the flu a couple weeks ago at the Charles Schwab. So maybe there'll be some bad taste in people's mouths. I don't know. But give me all of the Paul Casey, $8,300. He just hits a lot of fairways, hits a lot of greens. He might have a couple of really bad fuck-up holes, so keep that in mind. And he's not going to make every single 12, 15-footer he stands over. But I feel like, $8,300, that's like a steal, in my opinion.
No, I'm with you on most of this. Matsuyama at 88. Talk ball strikers, talk accuracy. It's just putting with Matsuyama. I feel really good about playing Matsuyama at $8,800 to knock on wood, make the cut, and possibly contend. He plays well on opens. Recently, T16 second, miscut T18, T35, but T18 or better in 3 of the last 4 years. I don't mind that at all with Hideki Matsuyama at that $8,800 price point. I agree completely with that. Scott at 86, coming in great form. He can play courses like this very, very well, so I'm with you there. I think Cooch at 85. I already mentioned when I did the small courses, he was one of the top DraftKings scorers in the field. He plays pretty decent at this course. He got a top 10 here in the past, T22 here last season. He's got decent U.S. Open history. Miscut last year with a 16th, 46th, 12th, 12th. Coming in good form after that miscut. Because prior to that miscut, it was a T8, a 2nd, a 12th. He was 4th last week. That was his first miscut of the year. $8,500, I have no problem with Cooch. You mentioned Casey. He's a very, very good play. Good course, or pretty good course history. Between the withdrawal and missing the cut at the Masters, I'm curious to see what his ownership comes out as, because I think he's a really, really good play. But I'm not playing a chalky Paul Casey when I can go up to Kuchar. You got Matsuyama, Scott, or I just drop down and I play Gary Woodland, another guy that makes cuts, very inconsistent at time, but a guy that hits his 3-wood very, very well. So a guy I keep an eye on in a GPP only at $8,000, someone to possibly target.
What are your thoughts on Xander?
I know you don't get him right. I haven't been getting him right lately. It's just if he's low owned, I want to play him
He's not going to
because
be.
that's the problem. And I don't want to play a chalky Xander, but there's 2 U.S. Opens, a 6th and a 5th. He's played okay in his one chance at Pebble. He's coming in outside that missed cut where we all choked on that one. He's playing pretty good golf outside of that missed cut. It's like, yeah, you're saying he's not going to be low owned, so I want nothing to do with a chalky Xander. But if for some reason he's low owned, I'm very intrigued.
Yeah, the ownership is not. I mean, like, Labs has incorporated fan share, which is absolutely just the best thing ever, especially on a week like this. Whenever you've got some early kind of buzz about somebody, and he's got a pretty high buzz rating on fan share, so be interesting to see what he's projected at, and if that continues as more content comes throughout the week or whatever. But yeah, I never get him right, but I just feel like, man, he could burn you. Like I could see like a 25% Xander finishing top 5 and just being buried because he makes a bunch of DraftKings points.
And
that's what scares me.
And I don't have the exact like numbers in front of me, but it felt like that week he missed the cut because I know I owned him. He was spraying it all over the place, and that will definitely kill him here. So
Charles Schwab.
Yeah, when he missed the cut, he was just all over the goddamn place. It felt like, at least watching my tracker, it was bad.
He only hit 46% of the fairways at Charles Schwab, 50% of the greens. But he turned around at the Memorial and hit 78% of the fairways. So
see, that's the thing is he's that good. So that'll be a strictly ownership. That'll be a Wednesday night. What do we got going on thing? Because I think he makes a great ownership pivot. But if he's chalky, I can't do it. Can't do it. I want to take my chalk elsewhere. Some of the guys up top, I have a feeling, or maybe one of the cheap guys because I don't like a lot of the cheap range. Go chalky there and be different somewhere else. I don't feel like I can go chalky Xander.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the 7K range, 7,500 and above. You got Usti, Pat Reed, Leishman, Sergio, Webb, Sabs, Stenson, Bubba, Wallace, Poulter, Lowry, and Sneds. A lot of guys we usually like on this show. Where are you going to 7,500 and above?
I mean, it's a great range. I would love for Lowry not to be chalky, but it's hard for me to see. It's hard for me to not see him being chalky after his performance in last week. He's a good win player. Obviously he's Irish, correct?
I believe so.
Yeah, he loves the wind. So yeah, he's Irish. So I mean, it's I hate to not play him just because he's chalky, but I could see him definitely being chalky. Brandt, Snedeker, the same type of thing. I mean, he's a POA guy anyways.
He loves playing out here.
I also think that Hendrick and Webb are super chalk as well. I think a lot of people will start with one of those guys up top, and then that kind of leaves you, like, just for example, if you have DJ, it leaves you $7,700. How easy is it to come down here and just go Webb, Hendrick, Lowry, Snedeker? I mean, like, Poulter's another guy in this range.
That's actually a pretty good looking team on paper.
I mean, it is like that sounds good to me going in. But I mean, I think your average ownership there might be pretty high. Matt Wallace, man. I mean, coming off you finished 41st in Denmark, but finished third at the PGA Championship, second at the British Masters. I think he's interesting at 7,600. That's a better price for him than what he was at the PGA Championship when he was like $2. He was 7,600, but either way, I think the pivots here, man. I mean, and imagine this, paying fucking more money for Rory Sabatini than, Webb Simpson, who's a past champion, Henrik Stenson, who's a major champion, Bubba Watson, major champion. I mean, that's a wild price for Rory Sabatini, but nobody is going to be on him. The last time he missed a cut on tour was back in February at this golf course.
Oh, even better for ownership.
Yeah. I mean, so his course history is not good, but nobody's gonna be on him. What do you think? I mean, you tell me. You're the Kevin Na whisperer. Is this a Kevin Na week?
I'm nervous because I've seen Kevin Na here in practice rounds before for the Pro-Am.
Yeah.
He tilts my face off watching him. That dude is a mental midget. I love him. As we know, I freaking play him a lot. I'm nervous about him. I guess, like you're talking about ownership-wise, I don't hate it because he either plays really well here or he just blows up. That's what you're going to get. It's like certain guys we talked about lately that it's all or nothing, so he's not a cash game play. But as a GPP pivot, I actually think there's merit there. He's a really good iron player and a good approach guy, and that's going to play big, obviously, this week, as we've talked about many times. So I think and Sabatini are going to be very interesting this week when it comes to ownership.
I mean, nobody's going to be on there.
No,
nobody.
It's making them really
They should be below 5% owned, just given the names around them, because they are literally the guys who just fucking stick out like sore thumbs, in my opinion, just from a name perspective and a kind of a pedigree perspective. Because there's some really good names down here, dude. I mean,
it's like Simpson and Stenson. Those are two guys I'd love to start a cash lineup with, and Poulter.
Yeah, I could see that for sure.
They're all three of those guys, and I'd be stoked.
Yeah, but I mean, if you want to get ballsy and you're trying to fade the chalk here, I mean, it's got to be Sabatini and Nah in this range because everybody else, I think, will get at least ownership just from name perspective. Leishman maybe not as much so. Reed probably not as much so. But Sergio will probably be chalky, and then Webb, Henrik, Bubba won't be, and he really shouldn't be. He can't play. I mean, 35th and miscut his last two appearances, 18 and 16 here. Coming off
this course,
very average 63rd up in the Canadian Open, miscut the PGA Championship. I mean, Bubba, for me, just you have to play him on certain courses, and I just don't think this is it. I mean, I was watching him Thursday, Friday of last week, and he's having trouble off the tee. And if he's having trouble off the tee here, good night. Yeah,
and he might shut me up and play well this week, but this course does not fit his game. I don't see him playing well at this course. Anything's possible, but for a guy that shapes his shot and moves it around and has spin on his ball the way it does, it just doesn't line up well for this golf course.
Yeah,
I think Usti's very interesting at 79. If he gets the right mattress, it could be very interesting because he plays well in the Open. He plays well at tough courses. So I think Usti and his iron play could be very, very intriguing at 79. You mentioned Reed will be low owned. He's a boomer bust GPP. He either goes all in or not. Last 4 U.S. Opens, the 4th, the 13th, the miscut, and the 14th. But, his recent form is very up and down. So
he's got pretty good course history, though.
He plays well at Pebble. He likes POA. He likes Pebble. So it's kind of one of those things do you trust his ability to go big, or is it going to be a complete just disaster and his wife's going to be in someone's ear by the 12th hole? I don't know. It's going to be one of the two. But he could be a definite GPP play because he could be top 10 in it by weekend's end. I like Leishman for the same reason. Leishman does he's one of those Aussies that loves, they can play well in the wind. Ocean courses don't bug him. I think Leishman's very, very intriguing as a pivot as well. You mentioned Simpson and Stenson. I'm big fans of both of them. I like them a lot. Stenson I've actually debated as a one-and-done pick this week. I think he's that good this week, and that scares me. But I haven't narrowed that one down just yet. But I think he's a very intriguing play. And then you mentioned Shane Lowry. And then Ian Poulter. Poulter at 75 is just criminal to me. He should be above a lot of these guys. I think that's a really good play the way he's playing. He's very accurate, stays out of trouble most of the time. So, if I got to narrow it down, I think Usti, Webb, Stenson, and Poulter are my main four right now. But we just talked about in that big discussion about ownership and ownership pivots, things may change in the next couple of days. And it depends. We always say, you don't have to avoid all the chalk. If you play Simpson and Stenson, it's fine. Go play Jordan Spieth or something then. But we'll play that game. That's what the Slack chat's for. But that's where I'm at right now. Okay, 7,500 and below. There's a healthy set of names there, Jesse. Who are you looking at?
Start with 74 with Emiliano Grillo. That's how we say it around here. Pretty solid finish there at the Memorial. Finished 9th. Has made every cut since the Honda Classic, which includes the Masters and the PGA Championship in there. So I don't mind him at 74. My boy Berger, he did finish 10th here back in 2015, which was the Pro-Am event, obviously. He's made every cut since the Texas Open. He just can't, put it all together. Again, I've said this week after week, but at 7,100, I think he's worth a look, especially with the names around him here. I know a lot of people are already on Hatton. I've seen, I think Mayo's bet him and Feinberg's bet him. So expect him to be pretty popular. And him on POA greens. I don't know that I can really trust that. Just same thing with Billy Ho. You remember the last time that the U.S. Open was on POA greens?
No. What was the last time?
Chambers Bay.
Ooh, that didn't go
And
well.
that's the gif of Billy Ho doing he hit a putt and then it was like just moving all over the green and he was going down with his little snake. Do you remember that? Have you seen that gif?
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah. So, I mean, I kind of put those two guys like in the hothead if the shit's not going their way. Good night, class. You tell me in just a second after I mention one more guy, Scott Piercy at $7,000 coming off the miscut, where he burned everybody. Did you see somebody tweeted at him like they put Scott Piercy on their never again list and Scott replied, "You're on my never was list."
That's awesome. That gets brownie points in my books right there, Scott Piercy.
I mean, he missed the cut Canadian Open.
Don't tweet shit to people. Encouragement, fine, but don't at them when you're being dickheads. Come on.
Right.
Yeah, you go play that golf course and tell me how it goes.
Blows my mind. But anyways, I think he's interesting at $7,000. I mean, that price for him, he was playing really well. I mean, he had 2 top 3 finishes in his last 5 starts, 1 miscut now, and a 19th and a 41st. So I don't mind him at $7,000. Keith Mitchell, I mean, I don't think I can do it. He rates out decently well on my labs model, but I just don't think I'm going to be able to do it. So I'm just going to go ahead and uncheck him right now.
I don't think he likes POA, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he doesn't. I mean, it's basically a Bermuda or bust for him. Yep. So taking him off the list at this moment. So the guy I was going to ask you about, since you are the Arafa whisperer, is it Arafa week?
Dude, I love them. I think I talked about it when after the Pro-Am, I sat and watched him play like his first 6 holes one day at Pebble, and he was put on Stripe Show. Like between watching him and his wife walking around with him, it was amazing. I want to play him. The current form is up and down, very inconsistent. I wouldn't play him in cash, but I think there is definite GPP upside. I could see that because he finished 22nd here last year and 26th the year before. So I don't hate him at that price point. I really don't. I think there's definite appeal to getting Rafa at that price. So that's pretty healthy. I don't mind it at all.
Okay.
All right, a couple other guys besides Rafa down here that I'm looking at. The defending champion from 2010, Graham McDowell. I loved him last week. Course kind of idea fits the same way. Be accurate off the tee. He's been playing really well at short courses this year. We talked about it time and time again. I think Graham's a really good play at $7,300 if you're looking for a guy to make the cut and be successful. Another guy in that ilk, Jim Furyk at 72, I like quite a bit. I thought you were going to mention him. He's made 19 of 21 cuts at Pebble, finished 14th here earlier this year. He's made 21 of 24 cuts at the U.S. Open. He just plays really consistent golf, usually stays out of trouble. The kind of guy you're looking for here. Not saying he's going to win, but I wouldn't be shocked if Furyk sneaks into like a T20, T15. Wouldn't shock me at all. $7,200. I like that quite a bit. And I will give Billy Horschel a look at $7,200. I just like his approach game is pretty darn strong. I like that quite a bit. The POA thing is scary, but at $7,200, I think there's a lot of upside there with Billy Ho. So I'll give him a shot. But I really like the ideas of Graham McDowell and Jim Furyk just to kind of give your team a little safety with some upside. I don't hate it at all. All right, 6K range. Tons of options, Jesse. Tons of them. Who do you like?
Yeah, I mean, gonna try to probably stay out of here as much as I possibly can, but there are some names down here that are playable, starting in the $6,900 range there. Bern Wiesberger, $6,900. 8th and over in the Belgian Knockout, whatever the fuck that is. It's a European Tour event. Won the Made in Denmark Open, and then had 3 straight cuts or made cuts before that. I think he's kind of coming off an injury or something. He kind of had a rough beginning of the year, a bunch of missed cuts, but it seems like he's coming back into form. Nobody will be on him. Could be like the Matt Wallace of the PGA Championship type of deal. Ches Reavie, $6,900. Just kind of shows up on some course history stats that I look at. Played well at PGA Championship, finished 14th. Blew my mind.
Blew a lot of people's mind.
And that's a golf course that was playing, what, 76?
Yeah, this doesn't fit his game at all.
No. I mean, this is the more of the Ches Reavie type of golf course where you don't have to hit it far, just place it around and then kind of go from there. Justin Harding also at $6,900. He showed up at the Masters, finished 12th there, and since then miscut 10th at the Byron Nelson and then 54th at the PGA Championship. So 2 straight made cuts in majors. It won't go unnoticed, but either way, I mean, he's not going to be super high owned. And nobody's going to be super high owned in this range. Joel Dahlman, $6,700. He just qualified or just got into they just added him into the field. 2 appearances in Pebble, made 2 cuts. And then last but not least, Scotty Scheffler. Trying to figure out what to make out of this guy, dude. He's way up my on the stats, and maybe it's just because of where he's been playing mostly on the web.com, and those are easy to hit greens and easy to hit fairways. I'm not 100% sure, but he does have a win in the last couple weeks at the Evans Scholars Invitational, which is a web.com event, and then he missed the cut the next week at the Rex Hospital Open. So whatever, take that for what it's worth. But his last 2 appearances on PGA Tour were in Texas. Byron Nelson finished 35th, and Texas Open finished 20th. He is a Texas boy, so should be okay in the wind at $6,700. Like I said, he's just rates out like super high on the model. I don't get it other than it's labs, and they do things a little bit differently than what Fantasy Golf National is. But the good news about labs is there's stats on the web.com and stuff. And then one more, man, Victor Hovland. I'd be interested to see how much buzz he gets this week. He's the guy who played Oklahoma State.
Yep, he's I would imagine he'd be popular, but we don't know. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, a couple guys for me when checking it. Duff Daddy, you mentioned him already. The form he's coming in with is great, and I kind of like that. He qualified early in the week for the Open, took last week off. He's been playing a lot of golf lately. Bigger boy. I'm okay with him taking a week off. I already saw clips from yesterday. He's been out there on the range getting loose in Pebble. So I think at $1,600, he's got some upside for you. EVR, he was very popular last week. He finished 20th. He was playing really good on the European Tour. This will be his first U.S. Open, first time to Pebble. So it's dicey, but his tee to green game is pretty strong. He's $6,900. Could be interesting. Mentioned Lucas Bjerregaard. I kind of get worried because Bjerregaard's a big. I don't know if I trust his driving game's huge. I don't know if I trust his non-driver game, if that makes sense. But he's played really well on POA. We talked about that, and shorter courses has played really well. So he could be a kind of sneaky name. KH Lee could be sneaky as he's been playing great golf as well. But the couple other ones, this one will probably be popular thanks to Pat Mayo and Feinberg. But Danny Willett is actually coming in pretty good form, like pretty decent form. So I think he's interesting at 68. A guy I like a lot, and he's been kind of up and down the week. I was all in. He missed the cut. He T41 last week. He T5 the week before the missed cut. But he's made 10 of 12 cuts at this golf course, and that's Matt Jones at $6,700. I think there's some upside there. And then if you want a super punt, and it's only because he's coming in good form, but he's been playing on like the European Tour and some other tours, but T17, T2, T18, T19, T13. Other than that, it's not pretty, but his name, let me see if I can pronounce it correctly. Give me a chance here. He's from Norway. They don't even pronounce his first name. Halvorsen. He's $6,300. I'm just looking at a guy with good recent form that's super cheap. I'll take my chances there. It's worked out most of the time this year. I'll gamble with it at $6,300. If you want to play those big boys, you're gonna have to take a gamble somewhere.
Andreas
Straka. Is that his first name? Andreas Halvorsen.
Mm-hmm.
He's made 10 to 12 cuts this year. Playing over there in Europe. He's from Norway. I don't hate it. It's not like a go get him, have to play him. I think there's a little bit of upside there. All right, let's recap everything. Jesse, 10K and above, one pick. Who is it?
Man. Just gonna go off of basically the models, and that's DJ.
Yeah, DJ's. If you're only taking one, it's DJ. If you took DJ, I'll take Jordan Spieth just to mix it up for people. But yeah, DJ's the guy. 9K and above, give me one guy.
I'm gonna go with Franny, just for the ownership perspective.
Yeah, no, I like Franny quite a bit. If I got to give a separate name, Justin Thomas. Very intrigued by Justin Thomas. You know, former world number 1 at $9,300.
Yeah, 100%. I don't mind that at all. My only thing about Justin is I think he'll be more popular.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to play Francisco Molinari all the time and tilt every 3-footer that he missed. And I've only garnered a little bit of resentment towards him since he became popular and started losing me money. Yeah, because he wins.
Yeah. No, come join. The bandwagon is still open. Welcome. 8K and above. Give me 2 guys.
Fleetwood and Casey.
Give me Matsuyama and Kuchar. I'm afraid that's going to be chalky, but give me Matsuyama and Kuchar. All right, 7,500 and above. Give me 2 guys.
Lowry and Wallace, just for the ownership perspective.
Yeah, I know this is going to sound stupid, but I'm going to say Stenson and Simpson, but we know it's chalk. That could be changed later on.
Stupid at all. Those are like two in the grand scheme of things, like those are the 2 best plays in this range, in my opinion. So, but they're going to be chalky. So
the other guy would be Poulter. I think every time I scroll down, I go, oh, he's still there at 75. Like, it doesn't seem right. He's $7,500. That's one of the guys I'm looking forward to seeing the most tomorrow is Ian Poulter. I just can't wait to see Ian Poulter there. It won't be like New York, Ian. It won't be like New York. I promise.
Give us a report.
Yeah, 7,400 and below. Give me a couple guys.
Griot and then Berger.
McDowell and Furyk for me. McDowell and Furyk. If you had just one punt, who you punting with?
Scheffler.
If I have one punt and one punt only, it'll be Danny Willett.
I like Chaz though also.
That's a sneaky play. He plays well at Pebble. Finished second there 2 years ago.
We'll see.
Something to keep in mind. If you're starting a GPP lineup, Jesse, give me 3 guys.
I mean, just completely fucking balls to the wall. GPP, Brooks, DJ, and then Scheffler.
I like it. I can appreciate it. I'm gonna go with Molly, Scott, and Usti. Those are the 3 I wrote down. GPP starter. Cash. I'm going to start with Kuchar, Stenson, and Poulter. Who are you starting with?
Yeah, I mean, I think Stenson and Webb are totally fine for cash. I mean, I wouldn't mind starting there. Casey, I would put in the cash category as well. And I mean, if you got it, maybe get up to Cantlay potentially.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. All right, give me some picks to win. I got the spread, the odds up. Give me some guys. Who you like?
It's not been a very good year for the old picks to win here. Just gonna go ahead and throw that out there. Man, I mean, I know. Fuck. Just like it's hard to not see DJ or Brooks winning this.
You know what's crazy is Rory's.
What do you got on?
Rory's tied with DJ as the favorite. Brooks is right behind him.
Oh, they've moved since then.
Yeah.
Last time I saw it was like both DJ and Brooks were like 8-1 or something.
I got Rory and DJ 8-1, Brooks 8.5-1.
Yeah. What kind of odds do you have on Tommy Fleetwood?
Tommy Fleetwood 33-1.
Yeah, see, I don't mind that. And then what about Adam Scott?
Yeah, that's one I wrote down earlier. Adam Scott's 33-1. That's one guy that I don't.
So those are like you can stomach those types of. I mean, I really think that it's hard to not see as good as like top heavy as golf is right now. And don't get me wrong, like there's some really, really good golfers down in the 6-7K range, but the 8 to 9, 10K range is, I mean, literally it's so top heavy. It's hard not to see a golfer from that region.
Yeah, usually the best of the best competes here. That's usually what's going to happen.
It's just, and that's what's happened. Like, when's the last time we had like a surprise major winner?
Yeah, I can't name one off the top of my head unless people thought Brooks was it the first time, but they shouldn't have. But yeah, it's been a while. It's for darn sure. Well, maybe Danny Willett at the Masters.
Danny Willett at the Masters was probably it. Let's see. Patrick Reed won the Masters.
But he was still at least a name. Like you knew who he was. He was pretty decent. He wasn't, elite,
right?
But he was decent.
Franny won the Open Championship, but still.
He was on a roll by then. He was winning a little bit.
Jimmy Walker won the 2016 PGA
that could be
Championship.
One. Well, yeah, like Lucas Glover won one year. That would be one.
Willett won the 2016 Masters.
Yeah, so 2016 was the year.
In the last year, your major champions are Tiger Woods, Brooks Koepka, Franny, and Brooks.
Yep.
Oh, no, wait.
Elite golfers.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brooks has won 2 of these in a row and 2 PGAs in a row. He's won 4 of the last 6 events.
It's crazy, dude.
Yeah. A couple that I like. I like the Adam Scott at 33-1. Justin Thomas is 30-1. That has my attention. Henrik Stenson 60-1. I think there's a little appeal there. Webb's 50. But then the long shot, Poulter's 125-1. I just can't take my eyes off of that. I don't know. Last time I was all in an Ian Poulter, it didn't end as well as it should have. But there's just something about that man. He just shows up. But we'll see, Jesse. We will see. Any final thoughts as we run through the DraftKings? We've given our picks. Now we wait and tilt our face off Thursday morning.
I don't have much to say other than, watch your win finder, potential for some kind of draw. It's always good to check that Wednesday night. I probably won't make any teams until Wednesday night. And then also too, it should be pretty good coverage. The fun thing about being on the West Coast is it doesn't start till 9:45 my time, which is good for you as well because it starts at 6:45 your time instead of 3:45.
So I can wake up, and if there's something bad that happens, I have a chance to fix it.
Right. So that's awesome. So then it's not going to get over until what, 9 o'clock my time. So it'll be 6 your time.
Oh yeah, Fox has already said they're putting it on prime time. It's gonna be awesome.
Have they mentioned anything about being commercialless?
I heard Shane Bacon on the No Lane Up pod. They won't be commercialist because USGA wants to, get their money. So it won't be like the LPGA, but it's instead of 5 straight hours of no commercials, it'll be 4 hours and 30 minutes of no commercials.
Really?
They're going to sneak in a few, and I imagine it'd be screen and screen stuff like that. It's going to be a lot of golf. And,
you can kind of really, more toward the end, stomach that more than anything else than at the beginning when, CBS is just constant. It's every 10 minutes.
Well, and the thing with Fox is instead of Golf Channel and CBS where it's, you get to see the afternoon guys, I think they're going to start pretty early where we get to see everybody play golf.
Well, they started the women's U.S. Open at 1 o'clock.
So we'll miss Tiger Day 1 and a few others then.
So, it just, I don't know about the weekdays. Are they going to have Thursday and Friday coverage as well?
I believe so. I'd have to check all that out, but I think they're doing their best to get us as much coverage as possible. I remember, I thought it felt like in recent years they did a boatload of coverage, but I could be wrong.
Yeah,
they do a good job with the app, and DirecTV's got those other channels. I think they kind of run those throughout the day.
Let's check the viewing schedule. Here we go. So that's Wednesday. We don't give a shit about that. FS1 12:30 to 7:30. Good night.
That's a lot of golf, Jesse. That's 8 hours of golf. Quick math. Yeah. Oh, 7 hours of golf.
7 hours. Either way, that's a shit ton of golf. That's awesome.
that's full rounds for the afternoon guys and half for probably the early guys. That's good golf.
And then they have feature groups starting at 10:45. I'm guessing as you're all Eastern time on that morning. And then you can watch the practice range starting at 7 a.m. if you'd like. If you're fucking extremely bored.
If you're feeding it.
And then basically the same thing on Friday, and then 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. Saturday.
They're going prime time, that's what I heard.
Fox.
Yes.
And then kind of odd, but 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. Sunday.
I wonder why they're starting later on Sunday. They must have a NASCAR race or something.
That is odd. But either way, that's a lot of golf. 12 to 10 and then 2 to 10. It's going to be awesome. I'm actually going to be – I got a bachelor party going to, but we're going to a golf course. But that'll be fun to be able to watch that in the evening.
Yep.
At least be able to catch the last couple hours of it.
It's going to be awesome. And if you guys have any questions throughout the week, hit us up on Twitter and join the Fantasy DGens Slack chat. It's free to get into. It's been much more active of late. It's been lots of fun talking some golf in there. So come join us. But any final thoughts, Jesse?
I just gave them.
Okay, no, I'm just double checking. I got so wrapped up in your pizza coverage.
Hey, listen, it's gonna be a fucking super tilting week. So just fucking buckle your seatbelt.
Yep. It's gonna be a fun one. 5 of 6s will probably be just fine. So just have a good 5 of 6, and if you have a 6 of 6, you're gonna have a lot of fun this week.
Yeah.
So check out Jesse on Twitter at DFS Golf Gods, the podcast at Always Press DFS, and if you give a rating and review on iTunes. We'd much appreciate it. And I'm on Twitter at BDintric. But until next time, this was the Always Pressing PGA DFS podcast previewing the 2019 U.S. Open. Catch you guys later.